Well, this Sunday, the new DC series Lanterns, after 7 years of development, 3 different sets of showrunners, 4 different sets of writers, and a lot of iterations that have gone into it, is finally coming to our television screens on HBO Max. And I've been getting really excited about it. I thought the last trailer for it was just absolutely phenomenal. So much better than the first trailer that they put out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here. And today they gave us a nice, pleasant little surprise. I didn't have it on my bingo card, but today they dropped the first 5 minutes of Lanterns for us to watch. And so as quick as my chubby little fingers could click, I clicked over and I watched those 5 minutes. And can I just say, it was a masterclass in not taking a ton of screen time to set a lot of stuff up. In 5 minutes, 5 simple, tiny minutes, they set up for us when Green Lantern was revealed to the world, how long they've known his identity, a basic understanding of Hal Jordan's personality. We got to see an entire origin story for John with his dad and his background and his family and the idea of no fear and where that came from and the abusive household he came out of. And then in like 30 seconds, we get an instant understanding of the nature of the relationship between Hal and John. When he's like, you can see him, he's outside waiting and waiting and waiting. He pulls up, doesn't even look at him, gets in the car. I'm late. Like all of that was all done in 5 minutes. Lesser storytellers would have taken like 25 or 30 to done it. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, X-Men 2. There's this scene in X-Men 2 that I think is one of the best scenes ever for something like this in any movie about accomplishing tons without using a lot of screen time. There's a moment where Bobby and Pyro they go to Bobby's house, his family's house, and they're just walking through the house. And in just a moment, Pyro looks up and sees this picture on the wall of Bobby and his family. And it's a loving family picture, right? And then the camera cuts back to Pyro's face for just a couple of seconds. And everything on Pyro's face, looking at this picture of Bobby with a loving family, gave us 20 minutes of screen time's worth of understanding of this character and his background. It was one of the most brilliant shots ever of accomplishing a lot with very, very little screen time. And so I'm watching these first 5 minutes, and that's how I felt again. I felt like, oh my God, look how much ground they covered in 5 minutes. And then everything from that, the tension of when the dad says, step outside. Like, I'm like, oh my God. And like everything about that, just the TV interview, like all of it, I loved it. Now maybe guys, maybe this is like the first 25 minutes of Lightyear where, oh my God, that opening was great. And then the rest of the movie's crap. Maybe this thing goes right off the cliff, but I thought these first 5 minutes were great. Not only because they were just great in and of itself to watch, but also because of what they narratively accomplished in such a short amount of time. I thought it was wonderful. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to watch the first 5 minutes of Lanterns. What did you think about it? And then does that decrease your hopes or thoughts about where we might go from here?
No, yeah. I was like you, whenever this notification popped up that the first 5 minutes of Lanterns had appeared, I immediately sat down and I got to watching it because I've been very excited for this show. Of course, I've had my skepticisms, but this first 5 minutes, let me know I'm in for a good time here. I love the world building, like you said. They establish so much, and it's one of the benefits of a lived-in world that James Gunn is trying to give us, right? It's like just saying on the TV, for 10 years we've had a Green Lantern. It's just normal, and you get the way John, as a kid, already idolized Hal, and then even that scene with his father, which I was like, okay, that's crazy that's punishment for the kids, just
Oh
apple
my
on your head.
God.
But you see in that scene, there's other bullet holes. So that's not the first time. That's a reoccurring punishment. And that's a crazy household to grow up in. It sets up dynamics so well. So I love these first 5 minutes, and I'm so intrigued uh to that relationship that the between John and Hal, on how that's just that I'm late. I think that's gonna be so good. So yeah, I love these 5 minutes.
I'll tell you what though, too, is that look, I said from the day that they said this was going to be an HBO Max series. HBO Max, there is the odd abbreviation here and there, or aberration, I should say, here and there that happens, sure. But for the most part, HBO Max doesn't miss. They just don't miss. I mean, the last time HBO Max did a DC show, we got Penguin, and that's one of the one of the single greatest comic book things on television ever. I mean, it was riveting from start to finish. And I've got to say, I think, and this might not be a good thing, my expectations have gone up. And that's, I don't want to have super high expectations because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But my expectations have gone up a lot. Well, Jonathan, you saw the first 5 minutes. What did you think, and how did it shift, or did it shift your expectations at all?
I think we're in for a treat. I think we're going to have just tonally, I just think we're going to be rich, with this series. I think every episode, it's much like how Game of Thrones can set a tone. And again, that's HBO. I think just from what I'm seeing, like you said, it could be different, but I just think we're going to be looking forward to week by week, which, by the way, I'm so glad this is week by week and not all at once, that we're just going to be like, I don't know, just in this vibe the whole episode. And I think we're going to be looking forward to talking about each episode, when we come back.
Which we will be doing.
That's just my prediction. That can only be a prediction. Don't hold me to that if it sucks,
I also have this. I have this prediction. I think we are going to find, now I don't know this, by the way, this is just me as a fan speculating, but here's my prediction. I think we're going to find out that everything we've seen in the trailers will be in the first 2 episodes of the show. I think everything think everything we've seen in the trailers is going to be in the first 2 episodes of the show, and that we will then be going into uncharted territory that we'll have no idea where we're going from there. But I'm excited.
I would also say to anyone who might, and I don't think many people are, but don't expect this thing to lead into Man of Tomorrow or anything like that.
I agree.
Yes, it's the same world, but don't watch this because you thought this was going to be like, oh, this is the pretext to. I don't think that's the case.
The biggest thing I want this show to do is just to rebrand the Green Lanterns, because the Ryan Reynolds movie still did so much damage to a lot of people, and it felt like we were just not allowed to touch Green Lantern for a while. And so I know Guy Gardner's already done some repairing, and people liked him from Superman, but I feel like this flavor of the seriousness and the angle they're going with, I really hope this re-ups the Green Lantern brand.
Here's another prediction I have. I was like everybody else a few months ago, where I'm like, I think even though Hal Jordan is my Green Lantern, I think they're going to kill Hal Jordan in the series. I'm changing that prediction.
I never held on to that.
I'm changing my prediction. Because remember at the beginning of Hawkeye, which I didn't really like the Hawkeye series, to be honest. I love the Hawkeye character, but I didn't love the Hawkeye series. But at the beginning of Hawkeye, a lot of people thought that we were going to see Clint get killed, and that Kate was going to become the new Hawkeye. But instead what happened, that didn't happen, right? So here's what I think happens. My guess is, and again, I don't know. I'm just guessing like everybody else. I could be 1,000% wrong. Here's my guess. My guess is we get to the end of this season and Hal's still alive, but Hal relinquishes the ring to John. And then whereas John starts the series in the trailers as the backup quarterback, I think Hal becomes the backup at that point. I think Hal relinquishes the ring to John. John becomes the main Green Lantern. All due respect to Nathan Fillion, but John becomes the main Green Lantern, and that Hal takes on the role of mentor and backup to that. So I could be totally wrong. Again, I like where Uto is thinking in the live chat there. Parallax, because you guys remember the comic book story, Hal Jordan becomes Parallax. Just saying. I don't know if they'll do that, but that's just my guess. He's probably going to die. I mean, he's probably going to die, but I'm going to go with he lives at the end. We'll find out. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you see the first 5 minutes of not Greenland? I keep wanting to call it Greenland Lanterns. If so, what did you think about it? I thought it looked great. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Ultra Pouches. A lot of people use nicotine thinking it'll give them a little extra focus or even help before a workout. But nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. It narrows your blood vessels and can actually work against that pump and recovery that you're looking for. That's where Ultra Pouches come in. What you're really going to like about them is that they're 100% nicotine-free and caffeine-free. They're designed to give you smooth energy and focus without the nicotine crash. Pop one in before a workout or when you're sitting down for a long work session, and it's an incredibly convenient little boost. Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use the code CAMPEA to get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's TAKEULTRA.com for 15% off with the code CAMPEA. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that our show sent you.